Welcome back to ChapterCast. In this episode, we're tackling one of the most powerful and sometimes misunderstood tools in behavior analysis: extinction. You'll learn what extinction really means in ABA, how it works in everyday life, and why it can cause behaviors to get worse before they get better. From ignoring attention-seeking tantrums to breaking bad habits, we'll explore practical examples that show how extinction is applied, the challenges that come with it, and how to use it ethically and effectively. If you've ever wondered why consistency is the key to lasting change, this chapter has the answers. Have you ever found yourself stuck in a loop with someone? Maybe it's a child who whines every single time they want a cookie, or perhaps it's a coworker who constantly interrupts your meetings with off-topic stories, and you always politely laugh just to move things along. These little routines can feel harmless at first, but over time they can grow into genuinely frustrating problems. We often feel powerless, like we're just characters in a play, reading the same lines day after day. Think of a problem behavior like a little fire. We often don't realize that our own reactions, our attention, our frustration, even our attempts to say stop, can be like tossing little twigs onto the flames. We think we're helping, but we're actually keeping the fire going. The good news is that once you can see the pattern, you have the power to change it. You don't need complicated psychological tricks or confrontational arguments. Instead, you can use a well-established technique from behavior science to gently guide behavior in a new, more positive direction. It's a method that requires patience and consistency, but its effects can feel like magic once you see it in action. So, let's dive into this amazing tool. The core idea we're going to explore is called extinction. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dinosaurs, giant meteors, the end of the world. But in psychology, extinction means something much less dramatic and a whole lot more useful for dealing with everyday annoyances. It's not what you think. So let's get a clear definition. In the world of behavior modification, extinction is the process of no longer providing reinforcement for a behavior that was previously reinforced. That's the textbook definition, but let's break it down. Every behavior that we repeat over and over is being rewarded in some way. A baby cries, a parent picks them up, a dog barks at the door, you let them out. A student makes a joke in class, their friends laugh. The reinforcement is the payoff that makes the behavior worth doing again. Extinction is simply the act of cutting off that specific payoff. It's crucial to understand that extinction is not the same as punishment. Punishment involves adding something unpleasant, like a scolding, or taking away something pleasant, like screen time, to decrease a behavior. Extinction, on the other hand, is more passive. It's about withholding the expected reward. Imagine that vending machine again. You put your money in, you press the button, but nothing comes out. You might press it again, maybe even shake the machine a little. But if it never gives you that soda, you will eventually stop putting money into it. That's extinction in a nutshell. So the first step is always to play detective. What exactly is the person getting out of this behavior? Is it attention? Is it getting an item they want? Is it escaping a task they don't want to do? But be prepared for something called an extinction burst. When the soda didn't come out, you didn't just walk away. You probably pressed the button again, harder. Maybe you even kicked the machine. This temporary increase in the frequency and intensity of the behavior is the extinction burst. It's a sign that the person is thinking, hey, this usually works, let me try harder. It's a totally normal part of the process, and believe it or not, it's a sign that the extinction is actually starting to work. Let's make this less abstract with a real-life example from the research. Meet Willie, a 5-year-old boy with intellectual disabilities. Willie had a problem behavior. He would frequently get up and walk away from his desk during his special education classes. His teachers were understandably concerned. It was disruptive and prevented him from participating in learning activities. Their go-to response was to tell him to sit back down, sometimes repeatedly. They would say his name, guide him back to his chair, try to get him to focus. But no matter what they did, he kept wandering off. The first step for the behavioral team was to figure out why Willie was doing this. What was his payoff? After careful observation, they realized that the teacher's reactions were the reinforcer. Every time Willie got up, he received a burst of one-on-one attention from his teachers. Even though the attention was meant to be corrective, Willie, sit down. To Willie, it was still attention. So the team decided to implement an extinction procedure. The new plan was simple. When Willie got up from his desk, the teachers were instructed to not say anything to him. No, Willie, get back here, no eye contact, no guiding him back to his seat. They were to completely withhold the attention he was seeking. At the same time, they made sure to give him plenty of positive attention when he was sitting at his desk and working. This is a critical part of the process, which we'll talk about more later. They weren't just taking something away, They were teaching him a better way to get what he wanted. How do you apply this in your own life? First, identify the reinforcer. Become a behavior detective. When the problem behavior happens, ask, what happens immediately after? Attention, escape from a chore or task, a tangible item, a toy, a tangible item, a snack? Be sure what fuels it or the plan will fail. Pinpoint the reinforcer, then create a concrete plan to withhold it every single time. Consistency is everything. Applying extinction sometimes makes the behavior stronger. This is intermittent reinforcement. It's like a slot machine. Everyone must be on the same page. Parents, teachers, partners fully committed. Prepare for the extinction burst. Expect the behavior to get worse before it gets better. Child example, whining leading to screaming. Coworker example, off-topic stories that lead to longer, more elaborate ones. If you give in during the burst, you reinforce escalation. Ride out the storm calmly and consistently. Safety first. Extinction is not for dangerous behaviors. If a child self-injures for attention, you cannot simply withdraw attention and let them get hurt. In high-risk cases, consult a qualified professional like a board-certified behavior analyst. Professionals can design safe, supervised plans that may include extinction. Don't try to be a hero with high-stakes behaviors. Before you even think about starting an extinction procedure, you need to understand something called the schedule of reinforcement. This sounds technical, but the concept is super simple. It just means, how often was the behavior being reinforced? Every single time, or just once in a while? That answer predicts how hard extinction will be. Behavior rewarded every single time is easier to extinguish. Behavior rewarded only occasionally is much harder. If it worked perfectly every day for a year and then one day it fails, you'll give up quickly. That's continuous reinforcement, rewarded every time. Extinction happens fast. Now imagine a different machine, a slot machine. It only pays out once in a while. That's intermittent reinforcement, so you pull the lever again and again. The behavior is highly resistant to extinction. If the machine becomes permanently broken and will never pay out again, you'll see a massive extinction burst and a very slow decline. Using extinction alone can feel a bit negative. After all, you're just focusing on stopping a bad behavior. But the most effective and ethical approach pairs extinction with another powerful tool, differential reinforcement of alternative behavior, or DRA. While you're ignoring the problem behavior, you actively teach and reward a good behavior that serves the same function. You're not just saying don't do that. You're showing them, do this instead and you'll get what you want. It's a constructive, positive approach. He had a replacement skill. This 1-2 punch makes the whole process smoother and faster. When you provide them with an alternative, you give them a clear roadmap to success. It reduces frustration and makes them a willing participant in their own behavioral change. You're building skills, not just stopping problems. So you've done it. You used extinction and differential reinforcement, and the problem behavior is gone. High five. But the work isn't quite over. Now we need to discuss two crucial concepts: generalization and maintenance. These are the keys to making sure the new positive behavior sticks around for the long haul and shows up in different situations. This all sounds great in theory, but as a scientist, I always have to ask, what does the research say? Is there solid evidence? The answer is a resounding yes. Extinction is one of the most well-established principles in behavior analysis, with decades of research backing its effectiveness across a huge range of population settings behaviors. As we wrap up, there are two more important terms we need to get crystal clear on. These details can make or break your extinction plan. The first is treatment fidelity. Are you doing the plan correctly and consistently? The second term, escape extinction. It's used when problem behavior is reinforced by escaping a task. Escape extinction means not allowing that escape. You calmly insist the task be completed, no matter the behavior. Because it's difficult, work with a trained professional. That wraps up Chapter 14, Applying Extinction. If this walkthrough was helpful, please give the video a like so that other students can find it too. You can always use the timestamps to review key sections or head to the playlist to continue with the next chapter. Subscribe to ChapterCast for more chapter-by-chapter study guides, and let me know in the comments which concept you'd like broken down next. Thank you for learning with ChapterCast, where textbooks become study-friendly lessons. See you in Chapter 15, Differential Reinforcement.